Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Good morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am still getting some of our candies ready for our December videos, and I am going to make some turtles this morning, and it's not really that difficult. What you need though to do at the very beginning, you're going to need to take pecans and put them on parchment and toast those, and you'll need 2 cups of pecans that you're going to put on your parchment on a cookie sheet in a 350-degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. You'll notice a color change. You just don't want to burn them. Then at that point, you're going to take a half a cup of those and chop those up like I've done here, if you can see that. So you're going to have those ready. And then we're ready to make our caramel part of our turtles. So in my saucepan, let me get my coffee out of the way. In my saucepan, I'm going to put 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And I want this, I'm going to just turn it to medium high for now to get it going. And you're going to put a 1/3 cup of light corn syrup. And 1/3 cup of sweetened condensed milk. And this is kind of handy because earlier I made some Oreo fudge, and that called for part of the can of sweetened condensed milk. And then the other was actually a 1/3 of a cup left. So that's going to go in for our turtles. So there's no waste. Okay. And I'm also going to put in 4 tablespoons of butter that I melted, and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I want to bring this to a boil and then boil it for 5 minutes. And you can also use your candy thermometer if you have it. And on your candy thermometer, you want it to read 240 degrees. So this is going to take a few minutes. I want to bring it to a boil. I want to stir it to make sure it doesn't scorch, and then boil it for 5 minutes before I add anything else. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes of stirring my caramel sauce, and it did reach 240 degrees on my candy thermometer. So now I'm going to add my baking soda and my vanilla. And I want 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Stir that in. And anytime you add this combination, it will get thicker and foam up a little bit. Now I'm ready to stir in my pecans, and I want to stir these in until it starts to thicken. And then I want to quickly drop by tablespoonfuls, actually a couple of tablespoonfuls, onto my parchment. And then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for 20 minutes to cool. So it will not take long to thicken up before you want to put it on your parchment. Had to check something really quickly. Okay. couple more stirs. And as you can see, it's getting a little more difficult to stir. Now, what's really handy is I'm putting this on the same parchment that I toasted my pecans on. So I want to put, instead of 2 tablespoons, I'm just going to heat mine. And it will make anywhere from 12 to 14 turtles. Sometimes they decide on their own where they want to go. So much better when they mound up. I don't know about you, but I love the toastiness of the pecans and the creaminess of the caramel. And then, of course, anytime you add chocolate, it's a wonderful thing. Turtle needs a little loving. And you could actually make these a little smaller if you like, if you prefer. One more turtle. My grandkids were turtles for Halloween this year. It was so fun to watch them. Even the littlest one was one of the turtles, which meant my granddaughter got to be April O'Neil. So, okay, these are ready to go in the refrigerator for at least 20 minutes to cool completely before I can actually dip them in chocolate. Our turtles have cooled for 20 minutes in the refrigerator. So now I'm ready to make the chocolate that's going to go over the top of it. And I'm going to do this in the microwave, so it's super simple. But I've taken 12 ounces of mini chocolate chips, and that's really all you need. But I like to add just a few blocks of chocolate almond bark as well. And it's just because then when these set, they hold up just a little bit better, but you don't have to add the almond bark. So I'm going to melt this down in the microwave until it's creamy. 30-second intervals so it doesn't seize up, but it won't take it long. And then I'll come back and we'll dip these. So as you can see, our chocolate is nice and creamy. So now we're ready to start dipping our turtles into the chocolate. I've got 2 forks going. So I can dip this and then put it back onto my parchment. Once I get all these dipped and back onto my parchment, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for another 30 minutes to let the chocolate set up. And then they're ready to take out and either eat, or if you're going to store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator just so that chocolate holds up. If I end up having too much chocolate, that's never a problem for me. I always just take my leftover chocolate and I can either just save it for the next thing I'm going to make, cover it, refrigerate it, all that stuff, and then melt it down again. Or I can just go ahead and get some peanuts out, throw it in there, and add some peanut clusters to my sheet with my turtles. And that's all there is to our homemade turtles. Hello, Welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I'm making our Christmas candy, and I know I'm not dressed for Christmas yet, but some of these can be done ahead of time and either just sealed in an airtight container or frozen. And so one of the things we like to have are candied pecans, and I've made these for years and years. When I taught, I had students who'd say, give me the recipe, and I would, but it's more just an explanation. And then you do what you do. So I have a pot of water boiling, and to that I'm going to add, it says 2 packages on my recipe, but that's 2 regular sized packages, and I have a 2-pound package of pecan halves. So I'm going to add these to my boiling water, and then I'm going to let them boil for 7 minutes. And if you don't have a pot that's big enough, you could actually do this in 2 batches. But my pot is actually big enough to do that. And it will foam up. Now the reason you boil these for 7 minutes is to get all the impurities out. So I'll boil those and then I'll come back. I boiled my pecans for 7 minutes, then I drained those, and I've let them cool just slightly before I add the sugar. In the meantime, I'm heating up some oil. But I did want to show you, I don't know if you can see it on the video, the reason we boiled the pecans, like I told you, was to get rid of any of the impurities. And if you can see the water that's coming out of here, that's from those pecans that I boiled. So a lot of that is the impurities that are in the nuts themselves. So we wanted to get that out. So now I'm going to take about 3 cups of sugar that I have in my bowl, and I'm going to add about 2 cups to start with into my pecans and mix that in really, really well. And I'm going to leave that to soak in for just a minute or so before I start frying these. You just want the sugar to absorb into the nuts just a little bit. Add just a little bit more of my sugar. My oil's about the right temperature. So now I'm going to take these and I'm going to just drop those in gently. Yeah, I have one of my batches of candied pecans done. You can see they caramelized, and that took about 3 or 4 minutes. So you just want to watch it really closely. So now I'm ready to put in a second batch, and you don't want to overcrowd because they will bubble up as you can see in the pan. And then you're just going to stir them off and on. Make sure they're down in the oil. And let those cook for the 3 to 4 minutes until they're caramelized. Then you're going to put them on a cookie sheet to cool, and then put everything that you used in hot water and let it soak, and it'll clean right up. We like these not just to eat them plain, or you can actually put them over your salads or whatever, and they're just a real treat. So that's how we make our candied pecans. And I know you can make them in the oven, but I just don't think they have the great flavor that they do when they're deep fat fried. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.